Oh, hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards. Use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. A Seven of Pentacles. You're somebody who, like, you don't quit. You don't give up on things easily. Okay. You tend to stick things out, sometimes until the bitter end. You know, that it feels like you have that sort of commitment, and it almost in a way feels like you're the kind of person that would kind of go down with the ship. You know. I feel like you are a very hard worker. I feel like you're very generous with your time. I feel like you don't have a lot of time. I feel like you're a very busy person. And I feel that you're sometimes spreading yourself very thin. I think there's a lot of things in life that you want to accomplish. But I wonder if there is something that's almost preventing growth. You know, this to me, the Seven of Pentacles looks like either a forest that has been sort of cut down, right? Or something that's trying to grow but is meeting with a lot of resistance. Okay? A key word for the card is failure, right? But I don't really like to use that word. I think that it's, I think maybe we need to bring that word back a little bit, you know, because we all fail constantly. Right? And we learn from those failures. And so the next iteration of our efforts is just that much better, that much better, that much better. I feel like we're going to write the word failure in our journals a million times, but the success one time, and that sort of transcends everything. You know? I feel like you're somebody who you've done a lot in your life. I think you have a lot of confidence, but to me it seems like a quiet confidence. It feels like there's a lot of potential in you, but I don't know what the darkness is. Okay, let's put this into some context. Let's see what's going on with this Seven of Pentacles. We got a Seven of Swords now. I think maybe you're trying to find out what the darkness is too, right? Trying to find out what it is that's preventing growth. Okay, and you know, maybe it's kind of maybe we're sort of changing our mind about things. You know, maybe we see that there are a lot of different options, but until we can commit to one, we're not going to get out of this hole, right? Whatever that Seven of Pentacles is for you. Now we got some court cards: Princess of Wands, Princess of Cups. Interesting. Four of Pentacles and Eight of Wands. So at least we're going from a 7 to an 8. And the 8's kind of saying, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. You know? And so maybe this is really just any kind of change right now. Any kind of creative expression in any direction would be good. Right? We've got another court card now. We've got a Knight of Pentacles, the Art or Temperance card. Another court card here with a Knight of Swords, and finally, the Fool. Holy moly, that's good. And I think the Fool is really the transcendence of this situation. If this is a hole that you're in, and maybe it's a financial hole, maybe it's sort of a general feeling that life is not growing and flourishing and blossoming as it should. Maybe there's something that's blocking that. Okay, and might be a Sagittarius person, okay? But I don't think exactly that's what the Art or Temperance card is referring to. I think it kind of feels like the situation you're in now is like a pressure cooker. It's like you're just sort of you're being tested, you're being cooked, you're being prepared for this freedom of this Fool card. And this is sort of this is the fire that Spirit has kind of put you in that you've got to get out of. Okay? In your path toward freedom and enlightenment and love and beauty and harmony and bliss and everything that the Fool is going to go and experience, I feel like there's movement needed. Okay? And maybe it's a new home or a new work environment. Maybe it's reconsidering a certain relationship with someone. Okay, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go over here with Danny, aka Tortuga. No, it's not Danny Carey. It's my other favorite Danny. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, all right? But it will tie everything together. Oh, yes, it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for the card, please put it in the comments below. I think we should make it interactive. We should make it a group exercise of intuition. All right. Now, let's take a look around the room. We've got our two major arcana energies, the pressure cooker and then the relief of the pressure, right? This is you sort of in this trial, this tribulation. This is a period of learning and growth. You're meant to endure this to fortify yourself and achieve your freedom. And maybe to understand what freedom, what your path really should look like from here, what the next step is. What is transcendence for you? What is success for you? What is it that you really want? What kind of quest, what kind of soul are you, right? We think of the Fool always as the one who's beginning the journey, but sometimes I look at the Fool as, the knight that has quested through all of the other major arcana energy and is now out the other side, transformed, but yet still the same, enlightened, but still has more work to do, And so I feel like the Fool is sort of coming through this probationary period, this trial period, this pressure cooker environment that you're in. And it feels like it is a relationship with, I don't know, there's a lot of court cards. It could be other people. It could be a group of people, right? It could be one particular person that you feel is, and it could be a karmic thing, right? It feels like there's an obstacle here. And this is right here. And of course, what's the solution? If this is a relationship that is sort of lacking in communication, not really even lacking in communication, but the feeling that the communication doesn't amount to anything. So these two cards together, failure and futility. It's kind of like we have conversations, but they never lead anywhere. Nothing ever changes, nothing ever grows. There's no progress being made in all of these talks. It's like you're negotiating every single day of your life, but there's never anything that gets done. There's never an agreement that gets reached. No new plans are implemented. Policy doesn't change, And so it feels like, why am I still here doing this? Why am I doing this every day? We have fire. We had water at the beginning. We've got our air energies. And we've got our earth energy up here, okay, and the 7, of course. I think that the water energy is significant. Maybe we'll start with the water energy today, because the water feels like there was a lot of hope for this situation, whether this is a relationship with a lover, a friend, a family member, a company, a job, a coworker, a boss, a religious relationship or spiritual kind of partnership or a karmic thing, whatever it is. Okay, I feel like it started out with hope, started out with love. There was the possibility of this could be a dream come true. But something is preventing the dream from really getting started. Yeah. And it might simply be that this is not the right situation for you. It might simply be that, Spirit has put you in this situation to kind of see what you're going to choose. If you're going to choose yourself, right? If you're going to choose your transcendence, your spirit, not your human self, right? Pardon my voice. I feel like I'm getting laryngitis again. Happens a couple times a year, I think, for me. It'll make for fun readings when I do finally lose my voice and I'm even more raspy than usual. the Princess of Cups shows that there was a lot of hope. That we thought this was going to be, this really could be it. This could be the one, you know. That we didn't anticipate it being as difficult as it is. Okay, this is where the love is. This is where the only water energy is back here. It started out with love. It started out with hope and beauty and joy and you know, this sort of dream. But something's not letting it materialize. And it just feels like you and this other entity, person, a job or karmic, whatever, having a difficulty communicating, having a difficulty really getting through to each other on that sort of spiritual level. Okay. The Princess of Wands underneath everything, rather than this becoming the potential for the dream come true, this is now the potential for chaos. This is the potential for everything to just continue to get worse, right? This is sort of an impulsive energy. This is kind of the energy that wants to just yell and scream and be really, really dramatic. You know, be really, really expressive and really vocal and really enthusiastic and zealous about, you know, about the situation. It's kind of like the car that just wants to go and scream and things like that, you know? And maybe that's part of the thing here is that maybe you need a good scream. You know, we don't talk about primal screaming enough. But maybe this is it. You know, I don't think that's going to solve everything, but it might give you a little bit of a relief from some of the pressure that we can start thinking clearly about what we need to do. Spirit's saying that you got to have a plan, and that's the Seven of Swords. I think anytime we try to have a plan, anytime it's kind of like you and this person say, okay, we've reached an agreement. It sounds good. Let's do it. But then nothing changes. We're Seven of Pentacles still. There's no growth, right? And maybe this other person that you're with or the situation you're in, maybe you are desiring growth and you want that Fool, you want your spiritual journey to continue. But maybe this other person or this other company or whatever, just they're not growing and changing with you. So there's some kind of stagnation there. And the longer you hang around, it's kind of like you're delaying your own growth and progress too. While you wait for someone else to kind of get on the ball, right? And that brings us up to the Four of Pentacles, which is the idea that change is needed. Anytime we see a 4, we start looking around for the 5, right? But this is also sort of the recognition that you sort of have a stable thing right now. There's no growth, it seems like. There's a difficulty trying to make progress, trying to move forward, trying to grow, trying to somehow evolve or whatever it is, if it's a business or, you know. But there is a certain sense of stability, safety, security, a certain familiarity, a certain routine to it all that at some moments of your life, I think, feels better than the anxiety of change. You know, that we know something needs to change, but we're kind of reluctant to go outside of this box right now. Okay. And so it's kind of like, especially when we look at the Sagittarius energy over here with the Art or Temperance card, it's like we're in the pressure cooker, and we know how to get out of it, but we're kind of scared to get out of it because what if it's worse out there? What if you're going out of the frying pan into the fire, you know? So we sort of are, we're clinging to what we know. We're clinging to what feels stable to some degree, right? There's a certain stability or routine, at least, in things. Spirit's saying that you need some new goals. Spirit's saying that I don't care where you go, we can't stay here, right? And that's over here with the Eight of Wands, but that's the anxiety. The anxiety, and it goes with the sevens too. The idea of we're not able to pick a path and really commit to it. And we think we do in this sort of negotiation or compromise with this person or with this company, but nothing changes, right? So the Eight of Wands is, it's the anxiety. We're kind of here with jazz hands, you know, we're tap dancing on the shag carpet because we know that something needs to change, but we are having trouble picking a course, picking a path, making that plan, right? Seven of Swords, Spirit's saying you got to make a plan and you got to stick to it, even when, let's say with the Seven of Swords, even when somebody else is saying, no, please don't go. Right? Because there are going to be other thoughts in your head that say, oh, maybe this wasn't the right thing. I should give it another try. I should go back to the negotiating table. I should be more open to communication. I should try again, and blah, 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 blah. Your mind is going to try to convince you to stay in that Four of Pentacles. Okay? Spirit's saying that a happier life is waiting for you. Okay, and this it kind of scares us, right? Because it requires a little bit of a blind leap of faith. That's sort of the Fool energy here. It requires a lot of just sort of trust, because I don't think that we really can see what the best course of action is right now. We know that we need to have a plan. We know that something has to change. We're not really sure what or how to go about it, right? And so let's go to the path of the serpent. Yeah, let's talk about all of this stuff and then figure out what we can possibly do to get this underway, okay? Now, as we talk about the path of the serpent, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Helps the channel. I appreciate that. We've got to support all of our favorite YouTube tarot readers, okay? Because things are tough all over. Yeah. Anyway, your general energy is the Knight of Pentacles, and this is the energy that can have the vision of the future. You can see the kind of life you want. Do that. Do that as an exercise. Do that work. And that's something that we can be creative. We can use our imagination. It gives us some place to go with our energy, with our will, Formulate a vision of what kind of life you want. Who are you? Where are you? And what are you doing, generally speaking? We can fill in the details later. But what is it? Is it a certain place? It is a certain lifestyle? Is it kind of, it's having certain kind of relationships? Is it having a certain kind of success, certain kind of work or job or avocation? Spirit's saying that somebody is kind of taking advantage of you. Spirit's saying that there's something that's sort of, it's almost like, it's someone sort of pulling you back. When you try to leave, something is trying to keep you here. Okay, and maybe it's playing on your emotions, maybe it's gaslighting, right? Something like this. But there's something that is something that doesn't want you to go off on your own, I guess is what the impression is, okay? But before we do anything, let's keep in mind what we want. Let's have that vision of the future. See, the Knight of Pentacles is the one that can see the future, can't always see the road to get there. And maybe we're talking finances here. It could be earth energy, a lot of earth energy here. Okay. Maybe this is the idea that, business isn't great. Things aren't really taking off, but I mean, it's it's a steady income at least, but there's no growth, right? Maybe you're in a job situation where, yeah, you get a paycheck, but it's not going anywhere, right? It's nothing. And no matter how many times you have the conversation, maybe you're being fed a lot of promises, but nothing ever gets done, right? So let's figure out where we want to be, who we want to be, what we want to be doing. This is, again, we don't know the route to get there. We know where there is. We know the destination. We've got to start figuring out how to get there. And maybe the Eight of Wands is saying that it's hard for us to start moving when you don't really have a plan, when you don't know the exact route. Right? Seven of Swords. We don't know the exact route. It creates a little bit of anxiety about going out on this adventure because, how many of us just get in the car and just say, okay, I know I want to get to the Florida Keys, right? Or whatever. I don't know. I'm just going to get in the car. I'm just going to go. I don't have a map. I don't have my phone, I don't have anybody with me that knows the directions. I'm just going to get in the car and I'm going to go. I'm going to figure it out. I mean, that's an adventure, right? And that's kind of I don't remember the last time I did anything like that, to be honest with you. But I feel like that's kind of what this situation feels like. It feels like you're trying to get to Florida. I don't know why I keep thinking Florida for you. Maybe there's some connection with Florida, yeah. And also, Spirit's been saying that you've been reading a lot of like holy texts or a lot of poetry lately. You've been indulging in art or something more, right? Something that's sort of, you're trying to get that feeling back. And I think it's really from over here, the feeling, the hope that you had at one time. It's kind of like I don't know if you're listening to more classical music or more opera, more poetry, like that sort of thing, right? Because I feel like you're trying to evoke some sort of, some sort of emotion or something like that, right? I don't know why that's coming through. But anyway, it's kind of like we just need to get in the car, and we know we want to get to Florida for whatever reason. Maybe you have relatives in Florida. And we just got to drive, and we'll figure it out. We'll see the signs as we go. For me, it's kind of, I have to go southeast, right? And we just got to figure it out. We'll see the signs. We could stop and ask for directions, I guess, but, we should be able to see the signs on the freeway, the interchanges and all that kind of stuff. And, I think that's part of what we've got here, this whole flow of energy between these three. But in your environment, yes, we've got the Art or Temperance card. This is a situation that is making you stronger. This is a situation that is a bit of a test for you. It's showing what you're made of. It's turning you into steel. It's turning your will into an iron will. I don't know what's stronger, steel or iron. I'm not really sure. I'm not a metallurgist. It seems as if this is a situation that you can get out of anytime you want, okay? And that's kind of what Spirit does, I find. Puts you in a situation that is going to test you and try you, and it's kind of like no one's forcing you to stay, It's kind of, we have free will, right? But it's just kind of, what are you going to do? The longer you stay, I think you get sort of stronger, you learn about yourself, and all of these benefits occur, right? But there comes a point where those benefits start to then diminish. There's a certain zenith of this, beyond which you are weakening yourself, beyond which you are losing all those benefits. Does that make sense? So we stay here and we get stronger and we learn our lesson, we learn the ropes, we learn the skills. Maybe this is a job that is certainly teaching you a lot about people, about business, and about the actual work, right? But there's a point at which you're not learning anything new, and in fact, you're just sort of weakening your will by hanging around longer. You've overstayed your welcome here. You've stayed longer than you really need to. You got everything you can from this situation, and now you've got to get on the road while you're at the optimal condition. It's the right moment, And this is kind of like, like I look at this card as an oven or a furnace or a pressure cooker. You're baking something in the oven. It has to cook, and then there's a certain sweet spot where you pull it out of the oven. Pull it out too soon, it's raw. Pull it out too late, and it's burnt. Yeah. So it's the right timing here. This card's also talking about your relationships and your environment, your relationship with the environment. Feels like what you're doing right now, you're like oil and water. You're made of different stuff. There's just not mixing. And it can be, you could shake it, you get the salad dressing, you shake the salad dressing, it's all mixed up for now. But it's not, what is it, homogenized? It's not incorporated, it's an emulsion that will separate. But in the violence of the shaking, there's this illusion of together, there's this emulsion that happens. But given enough time, things sort of separate out again. And I feel like that is the perfect analysis or analogy for your situation right now. In the argument, in those intense moments, those heated moments, there is mixture. And there is the togetherness that kind of feels, kind of like rallying together for that moment. But then when things calm down again, you got your oil over here, your water over here. The difficulty for you, again, is well, it's related to this Knight of Swords, which is a Libra type of energy, which is kind of like making a value judgment on something, using your higher discernment, and making a decision based on that. And it seems very formal, seems very rational, but it's very swift, you know. And to me, it feels as if the difficulty right now is to just sort of state how you feel and make a decision and follow through with it. Because anywhere along those lines, we get into the sevens, and things start to sort of shift around a little bit. We're sort of off balance. We start to question things. And the longer we delay, the less likely it is that we're going to do anything. Okay? So all of this is not to say that wherever you are now, you just need to go. You know, I don't think it's as simple as that. But I do know that once your mind is made up, it is as simple as that. Okay? Knight of Swords, making a decision and going forward with that without delay. Right? Eight of Wands, without delay, because if we delay, then we start to get sort of roped back into things. Then it starts to it starts to devolve and we lose the momentum. Okay? But I find that this is it's scary, right? But I think this is absolutely for the best for you. I think that this, especially with the Fool card, right, at the end here, this is you going on your adventure. This is you going walkabout. This is you just sort of trusting in the wind, you know, that it's going to fill your sails and take you where you need to go. This is you getting in the car and driving to Florida without having any sort of map or GPS or phone with you. You know, don't do that. Take your phone, you know, in case you need to call a tow truck or whatever. To be safe, obviously. It's a metaphor. But this is you setting off on that unknown adventure, that unknown quest. Getting back to your spiritual journey, getting back to your life journey. It's kind of like just saying, hey, that was a really cool experience. I got my stuff packed. I'm going to hit the road. No hard feelings. But this wasn't your forever place. If this is a job, a relationship, a group of people that you're with, whatever it is, it feels like you're a traveler through time and space, you know. It feels like you weren't meant to stay here permanently. And the fours of any suit, but Four of Pentacles especially, reminds us of the impermanence of everything. Nothing is meant to be forever, right? Except, I think, energy and consciousness and that sort of thing. The fundamental, you know, fabric of the universe. But the clusters, the aggregates of energy are growing like waves of the ocean, you know, like stars in space, like galaxies, and everything is. It seems permanent sometimes when we look at the universe, you know, through telescopes and stuff. It seems permanent. But it's a violent place of constant change. But from our little ant-sized perspective, it seems permanent, but it's not permanent. We see the stars in the sky, we say they're fixed stars. They're not. Nothing is fixed, right? In our perception, we look at things that way, but you know, there's always some growth needed, some movement needed, change is always happening. And I think you're feeling the discord in your life because you know that change needs to happen, but right now it's not. There's no growth, but there's no change towards something else that will grow, right? So I find that this is really, I mean, this is a good reading. This shows, with the Fool, this shows you getting back on your path, getting back on track, okay? It doesn't mean you have to quit your job. Doesn't mean you have to leave your relationship or whatever, but it means that you need to focus on your growth and your spirituality and your progress and your evolution and your journey and your quest and your adventure. And if that takes you away from this person or this company, then so be it. If you can still exist within this, but follow your path and have this sort of spiritual freedom, let your Holy Spirit out, you know, to grow and experience the world and to, you know, do what you need to do. Let's look at the mystery card. That's what we need to do. What do we think the mystery card is going to be? Well, Water energy again would be good because we wanted it. It was back there. We thought maybe this was the one, but it's not. Seems like it's not anyway. So maybe we would like to see some water energy. Maybe we need a 5. We got the 4. Maybe we need to see the change happening. See the growth, see the evolution, So I'm thinking it's either going to be some really good water energy or a 5, maybe even a 5 of cups. Get both. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Another 7 of swords, huh? And this is what I mean. Just as soon as you're moving in a certain direction, something calls your name and you look back. And we kind of think, well, I missed something back there. Maybe I didn't learn everything yet. Maybe I need to give it a few more days. Maybe there's something there that I didn't see. Maybe I'm being too hasty, judgmental. Maybe I'm being impulsive. Maybe maybe this is self-sabotage, right? All these things will get us to sort of turn around and go back. And this is you get in the car, you're going to Florida, you got no keys, you got to have your keys. You got no map, you got no phone, no GPS. You're driving to Florida, and then, oh, no, I forgot something. Turn around, go back. I left the stove on, the oven on, I forgot to feed the cat or put the dog in or whatever. And really, we're turning back because we don't have a map. We don't have the GPS, because there's a little bit of anxiety, or dare I say fear, in that. So something is always, and it's in your mind. It might be someone yelling your name. I don't know. There's always something that's going to try to convince you to turn around and go back. Okay. So we've got that Fool card really needs to be the crux of everything. The pressure cooker and the Fool is kind of like the steam, that wonderful, flavorful aroma that's coming out of the pressure cooker. It's sort of your volatilized energy. It's sort of like leaving this physical thing here, and you are transcending as this pure spiritual being. Okay, so it is a transcendence of the situation. Whether that is taking place in the physical realm or just the spirit realm is up to you. Depends on the details and really what else is going on in your life, What else is going on here is the extended reading. If you want to watch it, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Virgo on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Make sure you watch both readings, okay? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. And leave me a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.